Recognize the member for Regina Wall Shakers.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And it's with a great honour that I rise and join this debate today regarding the Regina Public School and Regina Catholic School division allowing a primary reserve co-op program to come into their school divisions in February of 2015. I think at this particular time and this time of year, it's with great respect that we honour the men and women who are part of our armed forces across the country and are doing great work here, abroad, protecting our interests and protecting the democracies that we hold so dear that allow us to have these types of debates right here in the Legislative Assembly. And I want to thank my colleague from Regina Rosemont who I believe added his support to this program. I think he said many times that opposition's role is to oppose and propose and to support the government when they bring forward good programs. And I think on this side of the House, and I believe most of the members on that side of the House, think that this co-op program is a very good program to allow the youth of Regina, and maybe who knows how the program rolls out, but allow the youth of Regina to be able to enter into some co-op programs with the military and with the reserves. And for the young men and women who decide to take part in this program, I think what they're looking to get from this program is some things that they want to get a good grasp on is leadership. I think they can get some leadership training, some of the sacrifices they have to make sure they make it through this program, Mr. Speaker. And this program came about in an interesting way, and how I think a lot of good policy is made is some people brought the idea to the member from Regina South, I believe. I think is how this came about, and I want to thank the member from Regina South for helping in developing this program. The Reserve Co-op program idea did come when 38 Canadian Brigade Group Commander Colonel Ross Emerald approached MLA from Regina South with an idea of offering high school credit to students in the reserves. He then met with the Education Minister, who put him in touch with the Ministry of Education and the Regina Public and Catholic School Divisions, who all saw the benefits of alternative credit to military training. Colonel Ermel spearheaded this initiative and provided the vision and leadership to make it a reality. We would like to thank him for all of his hard work and effort in bringing this to reality. I think he deserves a round of applause. Mr. Speaker, I think it's great when you add alternatives to the public school divisions. And not all students are looking for the same type of education when they're going through the school division, and that's not a bad thing, Mr. Speaker. I think that when students, there's no cookie cutter mold for any particular student, and all of our young people have different views and they have probably different career choices that they want to chase. And any time that you can broaden the education spectrum and allow different opportunities for our children and our youth, I think it's a very good thing. The member from Regina Rosemont talked about his son, and I think we would be in agreement when any opportunity and all opportunities that are afforded to young people and into the future is a good thing for young people. Hear, hear. And I think that students are going to appreciate that, and I know that just a couple of information about the program, which I think I'm very supportive of, Mr. Speaker, is that military training will be delivered at the Regina Armory. To be eligible, a student must be a Canadian citizen with a minimum grade 10 education and be 16 years of age. If successful, students may choose to continue on with their service with the Canadian Army Reserve. The Canadian Armed Forces are proud to provide employment and career exploration opportunities to our Saskatchewan youth, said Colonel Emerald. A career in the Army Reserves is an excellent opportunity for students to experience service to Canada while experiencing part-time military occupations that provide direct skill transfers to government and educators. We will achieve diversity in learning and growth while building tomorrow's leaders. And I think that hits the nail on the head, Mr. Speaker, when he says, in partnership, we'll achieve diversity in learning and growth while building tomorrow's leaders. And I think diversity is a good thing, and we're seeing more and more of it throughout our province, diversifying our population, diversifying the young people that are taking the opportunities here for growth and for employment, Mr. Speaker. And I would like to say that this is an exciting initiative that will allow our students to attain credits while assessing unique training and paid employment in Regina Catholic School Division's Superintendents of Education, says Cheryl Exner. Providing opportunities is a big focus of our government within the education sector. And I think over 7 years we've provided a lot of opportunities for growth within the education sector. We've put in over $700 million in capital infrastructure, which is on the basis what we see as providing opportunities for young people throughout the education sector. The hardworking men and women that are teaching our students, we appreciate the work they're putting in, and I think it's incumbent on any government to provide as much money as possible in that infrastructure and education so that they have the tools at their fingertips to continue to do a great job in educating our young people across the province, Mr. Speaker. And I really like to say that on the last couple of weeks, the military has been front and center in Canada and definitely in Saskatchewan, Mr. Speaker. We think of Corporal Nathan Ceziller and Sir Rillo and Warrant Officer Vincent and the tragedies that happened in Ontario, in Quebec, Mr. Speaker. And we had a few celebrations over the last couple of years here in Saskatchewan, and one of them when we had some World War II veterans in, and the member from Wood River does an excellent job as a liaison with the armed forces, and to have men of that stature, and many people have said it, it's the greatest generation, to have those men that fought in World War II in the Assembly. I think every time I see them, it just makes me think of the commitments they made to freedom, to their country at a very young age, at the age of 19, 20, 21, and the commitment they made and the sacrifices they and their families made to ensure that we have the opportunity to live in a free country, a free and democratic country. Every time I see them, the least I do is say thank you and shake their hand, and they just, with a smile on their face, say it's kind of what we had to do. And I think we think a lot more of the commitments they made than they did at the time, Mr. Speaker, and those men and women deserve nothing but our utmost respect, and we should honor them more than just on November 11th. Like the member across the way and member from Wood River said, we should honor them each and every day for the sacrifices they made. Which, with going on with the theme of Speaker, is that we have done some honoring the last couple of days, and yesterday it was a fantastic celebration with the memorial license plates that we gave to Ben and Margie Walsh and the Callahans. And I got to know Ben quite well. I'd like to call him a friend. It's an honor to call him a friend, actually. And the ability he has to just take the small things, I feel the small things that we've done for members of military families who've lost loved ones and given memorial license plates, is something that Ben was very, very honored and moved when he received it. And for me, I feel it's something so small, but I think in remembering and honoring his son's memory, it's never a small thing when it's just it's a license plate or something like that. And I think it's a fantastic, every time we get to see Ben come and carrying the black rod, I think it's just one of the better things that we get to see in this Legislative Assembly, and I think it's an honor for us to see him come in and carry that rod and to speak with the Callahans and some memories they shared. And I just want to say thank them for the ultimate sacrifice they made when some of the loved ones that were sent off just never returned home, Mr. Speaker and Mr. Deputy Speaker. And with that being in the Shipways as well, from Churchbridge, Mr. Speaker, I was able to talk to a couple of them. They said they used to live in Walsh Acres, but then they moved to Churchill, and it was fantastic to have a conversation with them. And just the utmost respect for the families that made the trip down to the Legislative Assembly to receive those license plates yesterday, Mr. Speaker. But one more thing is the Scholarship of Honour, and I'm just tying all these in with some of the abilities we have to say our thanks to the military. Not only that, but allow the young people in Saskatchewan to realize the commitments that the military has made on our behalf to make sure that we're free and we have the ability to make these choices and have these freedom of choices even within the education sector. And I think that, Mr. Speaker, Deputy Speaker, the Scholarship of Honour is another small thing, a $5,000 scholarship for people who have fallen loved ones or have had military service and been injured. And I think that tying all this in, Mr. Deputy Speaker, the ability for our government to do some of the small things to honour the military and to make sure that our generation realizes and the next generation realizes the commitments that men and women make in the military service is one of the things that we must never forget, and I hope that people join in Remembrance Day ceremonies across the province to celebrate our armed forces.
I recognize the member for Regina Walsh Acres.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And at this time, I think our side of the government would like to say that we have the deepest and utmost respect for veterans, the men and women that do the hard work abroad and at home to keep us safe and keep our democracy protected. Hear, hear. And I feel that we were talking about a provincial program, Mr. Speaker, and I think neither of us had service right now to try and score political points on a debate like this. I want to talk about what we're doing for the youth of our province and how we're going to give them the opportunity to gain some leadership skills, let them realize what the sacrifices our men and our women have made to keep our country safe, Mr. Speaker. And I think that question was out of order, and I just want to say that we should have more respect for the democracy that people put their lives on the line for than that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.